I've just had one of the fucking weirdest interactions, yeah. So, I'm planning my video, and this guy comes running up to me. I don't know if you can see him. He was down there, right? Comes running up to me, and he's like, "Wait, bro, weird question, yeah, weird question." And like, looks like an absolute junkie. Anyway, he's like, "You got a phone charger for me, cunt?" And then I'm like, yeah, I'll do. He's like, "Oh, bro, you mind if I borrow it for like 5 minutes?" I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Your bottle's over back to his car. 10 minutes goes by, bottle's back. He's like, "Oh, bro, thanks so much. You want some ciggies for that?" I'm like, "Nah, bro, all good. He's like, "Alright, sick, have a good day." I'm like, well, anyway. More importantly, we are going to talk about how to be consistent, right? How to work consistently, how to have consistent behaviors, everything to do about being consistent, right? What is being consistent? Consistent is pretty much having a pace you can maintain, having a set of behaviors you can maintain, have a set of values you can maintain, belief systems you can maintain, just a constant state of just the same thing, right? It's pretty much manifesting behaviors over and over. And I know what you probably wanted to quit something before, right? Like quit drinking, quit smoking, quit eating sugar, you've been in a diet probably. And you always hear people have New Year's resolutions where they're like, "Oh, this year I'm gonna lose this many kilograms," or "This year I'm gonna make this many dollars," or they pick a lot of specific things, right? But they're doing this wrong, right? And your willpower will only last so long trying to handle all these different impulses, right? Well, recently I've discovered how to get over these impulses, right? And it's to have a goal. And I'll stop you there before you go into this. "Oh, I've heard this before, blah, blah, blah." Not just like a goal of losing weight, not drinking, all of this stuff. It's to have a big goal that encompasses all of these things. And if you don't quit the smoking or the drinking or the eating shit, your goal will not be completed. Like, you cannot achieve your goal, right? So you have to optimize yourself. You have to decide what behaviors you want to partake in to achieve the goal, what behaviors to eliminate. So the first step to this is to manage your inputs, because your inputs need to be consistent, and they need to be consistently good inputs, right? And to get this consistency, you need to have a big goal that encapsulates all the good behaviors instead of trying to achieve all the little small ones, right? And this will happen because once you align your behaviors with your goal, you will do it because you will not be able to achieve the goal by extension, like I said before, right? So consistency in our inputs will eventually lead to the consistency of our outputs. Our outputs being achieving our goals, right? So the first thing you think of when you think of inputs, right, is the human body, our diet, what we eat. This is very important because your diet determines the cognitive function of your brain, and I'll explain this, right? So when you eat food, it goes into your stomach, and the quality of the connection between your brain and your gut is determined by the vagus nerve or the vagus nerve. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, right? When you eat shit food, this connection is, let's say, it's diluted. And this is why you have brain fog and have weird mood swings of anxiety and depression when we eat sugars or highly processed food, right? So you might be thinking, oh, why after lunch you can't really sit down and focus, or why when you've eaten a whole lot of sugar that you can't focus much, right? This is because the nerve connection between your gut and your brain has been severed, right? And if you eat this shit food, you'll have brain fog, as the connection is bad, and this will determine the quality of your concentration. This happens because when you're eating food that you're not supposed to digest, it will fuck up the hormonal chemistry in your brain, which is why you experience severe mood swings, right? So if you want consistent behavior, you need to have consistent inputs, which means you need to have consistent diets. If you want to have consistent behavior, you need to have a consistent mood, right? Like your anxiety, you can't be anxious, you can't be in a state of depression all the time. You need to be like in a constant state of mood. If you have a constant state of mood, you have a constant state of behavior, right? Yeah, hang on. So if you want consistent behavior, you need consistent mood. If you want consistent mood, you need consistent connection in your vagus nerve. If you want a consistent connection in your vagus nerve, you need to eat the right foods. The right foods in the working day is purely just protein. That's it. Just protein. Just your eggs and your meat. What I eat for lunch is literally a steak and 3 to 4 eggs. That is it. That is it. Bit of salt, my eggs, bit of pepper, and that's it. And it's straight back to work. I'll explain why I only eat protein, maybe in another video, and why I don't eat carbs. But it's pretty much to do with the carbs take a lot of your energy to digest, and the protein does it pretty much, and it doesn't take away from your concentration and your energy. Anyway, so that's diet. That's why we need to eat clean, so the connection between our vagus nerve and our brain is clean. Right? That's overall summary. Now the next thing is water. You need to, okay. There's pillars of drinking water, right? There's like really shit, not bad, and what you want to be drinking, right? The really shit is tap water. Please do not drink tap water for the life of you, especially if you're from a Western country. This isn't some conspiracy shit, it's proven evidence, right? There's a few things. One, the fluoride level. The fluoride level in water is disgusting, and there's been ad campaigns that promote fluoride in like our toothpaste and stuff, but it's literally a poison for us. That they literally used to poison rats with fluoride. You can research, is fluoride safe to consume, or is fluoride toxic, and all this stuff, and they promote it to be in our water as like a good thing about our water because it helps our gum health, right? So there's that. Then there's the heavy metals found in the tap water from all the pipes that the stuff goes through, right? I don't know if you're from Australia or not, but you'll be able to find videos online of like what our Melbourne pipes look like that contain all the water, and it's disgusting. And so these little metals, right? These little micro metals go into our water, and pretty much you can link. There's been studies that link metals to cognitive dysfunction and early signs of dementia and amnesia, right? So that's one thing. So you don't want to be drinking tap water. The other one is, so the big water companies, let's say, that filter all the water, they test for like all these different things to make sure they like filter the water. They don't test for a lot of hormones though, like testosterone and estrogen, right? But all these women that take the pill, So what you need to understand when you take a pill, 90% of what's in the pill gets urinated out of your body, right? When you urinate, it goes into the toilet, and then the toilet goes into the wherever it goes, and then it gets filtered back into our water supply and our tap water, right? But these big water companies aren't testing for like estrogen and hormones and testosterone. You can look it up on like Melbourne Water or wherever, or whatever your relevant water region company is, right? So that if they're not testing for these hormones are getting into your water and you're just drinking it. So if you want to consume estrogen, just drink your tap water, it's fine. Anyway, if you don't, what we can do, level 1 is drink bottled water. But obviously you got the microplastics, all of that. I'm not going to explain that, right? Well, that's bad, obviously that's bad. Then you've got reverse osmosis water. And pretty much what this does, it's a filtration system which pretty much separates everything except H2O from the water, and when you're drinking this water you can actually tell how clean it is, because it almost tastes like thick. That's how like much it tastes clean. It's hard to really explain. Yeah, you want to drink this water so you have the cleanest input of water possible, and so your body works functionally, and yeah, you thrive. And if you want to add like a pinch of Celtic salt, do that. Yeah, to remineralize your water. But yeah, you want to be drinking reverse osmosis water, and you don't need to buy the reverse osmosis like filtration system and install it in your house, because that's kind of expensive right now. But there's companies you can buy from, and they sell boxes of water, and it's all reverse osmosis, and like filtered. Because I'm in Australia, one that the big supermarkets sell, Coles and Woolies, it's called Pureau, Pureau, and yeah, it's the cleanest water I can find and get my hands on. So you want to be drinking clean water, all right? Same thing as the food, just to keep that connection clean. The next thing is sleep. Sleep is a big one. Sleep determines the hormonal chemistry in your brain when you wake up, right? You got your serotonin levels and your, I forgot the other one, right? But when you're, okay. So, this has got to do with sleep, right? Don't eat late. Eat around 6 p.m. and I'll get to why. When you're sleeping, you want your body to be resting and healing from the day before, right? It cannot do this if you're digesting a big meal late at night. It cannot do this. Your body can only do one thing at once. Okay, so if you eat, alright, let's say you have dinner around 7, you digest a bit. I want to have a snack. Yeah, you snack. No, let me just binge in the pantry. Alright, 9:30, let me have something else. By that time, you fucked up your sleep for that night. Because as your body hits the bed at like 10:30, 11, it's trying to process all the food you just gave it like an hour ago. And as you're supposed to be sleeping, your body's not going into REM sleep or like deep sleep, because it's still trying to digest all this food that you've been eating, right? And then you wake up and you decide it's a good idea to have breakfast and give yourself more food to digest, and your body's never had the opportunity to actually heal and recover from the day before. And you go into this endless cycle of eating a fuck ton of meals a day, and your body never gets the opportunity to fast and re-heal its cells, right? And to get quality sleep, you want to, 1, not eat late, because of the reason I just said. 2, go to sleep at the same time as much as you can to validate your circadian rhythm, right? And to make sure your body is releasing the chemicals when you need to wake up, and releasing them when you need to go to bed, and it will strengthen your circadian rhythm, and you'll just get into this routine, right? I forgot what the chemicals are, but serotonin is one of them for when I can't remember, don't quote me, right? So yeah, that's why sleep's important. Consistent sleep's important, right? The next thing is your environment, and I'd say this is arguably like the most important one. Like if you don't get this right, none of your things will matter. They never matter. Just because, let's say in your pantry, it's just chips filled with seed oils, chocolates, bags of lollies, all of these different types of crackers. There's all of these Nutella, peanut butters. You've got, what else do you have in your pantry? You've got all these Arnott's biscuits. You've got some cereal. You've got your cornflakes. You've got your Cocoa Pops. All of this is the food we're trying to avoid, right? It's not clean food. If this is in your environment, you're gonna eat it because it's there. Your willpower can only last so long, and your environment will always trump your willpower. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't give a fuck if you're David Goggins. If that fucking pantry is there and you have nothing else to eat in your house, you will eat it. And that's just how it is. On a long enough time frame, your willpower will submit to your environment. So that's why I try to, in my house, just not buy anything that is going to trump my consistent behaviors, right? I'm not going to try and eat all the fucking chips and all of that. I'm not going to buy them. I tell my parents, do not buy this shit. I literally tell them it's full of seed oils. I tell them everything, right? When I move out, it will be so much easier as I control them when it comes into the house, right? That's the food side. Now, you want to get rid of your video games as well. I explained why you want to get rid of your video games in an earlier video about the goal striving mechanism and how that's when you play video games, your goal striving mechanism is getting pulled into two different directions away from your goal, and you're kind of diluted, right? So you want to remove video games, and the best way to remove video games is remove them out of your environment. So what I did, I've still got a brother that likes to play PlayStation every now and then, but what I did, I threw out my controller. So I can't play. Yes, I could use his, but that's not the point. I threw out my controller, right? And I haven't played in like a year since year 12 started. I haven't played, and like because we just finished school, we're about to go on schoolies, right? And all my mates are starting to get back on. Oh yeah, let's get back on Fortnite. Remember this? And I'm just like, bro, we're 18 now. Like, we're finished school. You guys are about to go to uni. Like, we got to start putting our shit together. And they're like, nah, bro, just, play some Zone Wars. I'm like, come on, man. Anyway, so you want to remove the shit out of your environment to reduce the temptations. Alright? Your willpower can only last as long, can only last a certain amount of time before your environment just takes over. Alright? The last thing is a touchy one, right? It's the people you hang around. Obviously, you've heard the cliche, you become the sum of the 5 people you hang around. But it's a reason, there's a reason it's a cliche. It's because it's true, right? The people you hang around need to be supportive of the goal or wanting the same goal, or at least have a goal that they're trying to achieve, right? You want to disassociate from people whose values are incongruent, extremely incongruent, I'll say, with those you have to achieve your goal. Like, I say this, but take it with a grain of salt, because you don't want to be an absolute psychopath and just remove good friends out of your life because they don't contribute to your business. Like, that's fucking retarded, okay? And if you do have to cut someone off, it's not like you need to understand that some of your mates, you're only mates with them because you're in like an English class or something, right? And you slowly spacing yourself away from them, it's not because you think you're better than them or superior than them. it's just purely due to the fact that you're put on this earth for different reasons, and if you hang around them, indulge in their behaviors that are integral with your goals, you're just like, you're significantly hindering yourself. Alright? But I'll say it again, you don't want to take this stuff to extremes. Like, I'm not saying that if you don't contribute to my goal, you get flicked off out of my life. That's obviously not how it works. Like, obviously, because how dumb would that be? Let's say you're trying to find a girlfriend. You're not going to base your girlfriend selection criteria, let's say, because they don't contribute to your business goals. Obviously, they need to be supportive of what you're doing, blah blah blah. But you know where I'm coming from, right? And obviously, if you have a really really good mate, look, you know what I'm trying to say. You don't want to be an absolute psychopath, because you're still human and you need to like have some emotional attachment somehow, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's how you achieve consistency, through consistent inputs. And why would it be any other way if you think about it? You can only control your inputs. So if you want to be consistent, you've got to have consistent inputs. You have no control over your outputs, but if you have consistency in your inputs, your outputs should by extension have some sort of regression to the mean. And yeah, just continue being the best, have a good day, and be better.